and then I was under the weather for like 9 days. I caught the bug. And then look, your birthday is coming up. So we had a lot of stuff going on, brother Ankh. What's been up with you these past couple of weeks?
Just holding on, reading, writing, just doing our thing, getting ready, staying tight, working on some business, So we doing, just staying functional. You got to be functional in the scientific literacy. Things move real fast, so you just got to stay up on top of it. Just pushing our brand, pushing the brand you started, Conscious Ingenuity. And of course, this episode is brought to you by Conscious Ingenuity. Very, 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 very important. And I use that brand to just show people that it is happening in real time. So, building character, confidence, and capabilities in STEM, man. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We staying tight, and we're starting to get some recognition, slow. And that's how science is. Science moves slow through the community. And I just want to get better at giving those ideas out and understanding the process and how hard it was to actually grasp that. And just take time. So over time, Doc, we're doing our thing. We've been around for a while and dealing with the nuts. I posted a lovely Facebook post, and then you had some nuts in the comments. I dealt with them with the iron hand. Of course.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't even read it. I saw the post and I really appreciate it. I really appreciate
iron hand technique, trying to bring up old stuff.
It was on Facebook?
So on Facebook, yeah, you can read the comments.
I saw it on Facebook.
They made me go to the mother. I hate to go to the mother, but sometimes I gotta go to the mother when you just out of pocket. But yeah, so just putting you where you supposed to be at, and then I got some powerful sisters. Dr. My fault. Sister Juju.
I love her.
And Sister Tiffany.
I love them.
Exquisite. Right. So I'm gonna do posts on them, and they just keep this community super strong. They support everything I do. I just want to show the brothers, when you got a strong sisters behind you, bro, you could actually grow. And they're gonna correct you when you're wrong and stand by you when you're wrong. Well, you're back. You know how you go to the funeral, you be dead. All the women be like, he was a great man.
No, that's what's up, brother Ankh.
I appreciate you, Doc. I'm always, give you your just due. And I remember how we started back in the rough road. Man, you took a hell of a rough road dealing with me, and the people just attacked you, man. And I scared to attack me, but they want to attack you
all the time
about your life. I have never seen such, and they underestimation, man. I'm like, they can't see that.
No, it's funny. It's funny to me, and while they're doing that, shout out to the National Society for Black Engineers. I received an email from them, and a matter of fact, I can pull it up really quickly, brother Ankh. I received an email from them. I was invited to speak at this year's 50th anniversary for the National Society of Black Engineers. They're having a conference in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And they have this segment called Good Trouble. It's called Good Trouble Scholar Spotlight. Mm-hmm. And so what they're doing is highlighting educators and professors who are causing good trouble in STEM education. So let me bring up the email really quickly. We get started. I want to bring this email up. I was proud and honored to receive it by a dean. A dean actually sent me an invitation. Yeah. Shout out to Dean Carr, sent me an invitation. That's a dean over at George Mason University.
Okay.
And here it is right here. Let me see if I could share this. Share screen. Here we go, y'all. All right. So this is the invitation. And he said, thank you for your much willingness to participate in the symposium and serve as a speaker panelist for this year's academic and research leadership symposium located at the National Society for Black Engineers Conference in Chicago, Illinois. All right. And so they have this segment called Good Trouble Scholar Spotlight. It highlights bold, forward-thinking scholars who challenge the status quo by integrating intercultural agility into STEM education with a focus on equipping faculty to better represent these principles in their classroom as global challenges demand culturally competent problem solvers. It says the lightning talk will showcase innovative teaching strategies, curriculum design, and practical approach that will help faculty foster inclusion, globally aware learning environments. All right. So he's calling that Good Trouble. And then he also has me speaking on a panel called A Different World in STEM, embedding Black history and DEI in syllabus and teaching. And so I'll be on that panel the following day. So again, it was an honor to receive the invitation straight from the Dean Carr, over from George Mason University. So, as my grandmother and them would say, God willing, I'll be one in the number in Chicago, not this upcoming weekend, but next upcoming weekend, to represent Morgan, and also to expose the community. And I'm talking about the Black engineers. It's going to be Black engineers, brother, from across the country, from New York all the way to California. Thousands of Black engineers, students, faculty, chairpersons, and deans will be in one space where we will be talking about things like this. Okay. And so I'm proud to be one in the number. So anyway, brother Ankh, let's get to the subject. Oh, go ahead.
So yeah, go ahead. And I'm go ahead. I don't want to say something after you say that about the subject. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, brother.
So yeah, I got a little I've learned how to it took me a minute, and based off of critiques, specifically your critiques on how you do a PowerPoint situation. And you shouldn't have a million slides, shouldn't be a million words. You should know the material, right? If you're doing a rough basic, then your presentation should reflect that. And so I want to be able to, I got 5 slides right there. Based off of the material we're going to be recovering. I mean, based off the material we'll be talking about today. I think it's important for the audience to get a basic understanding of what's going on. Okay, I know we're going to be talking about the freedmen versus African American. Okay,
in other terms too.
In other terms too, but I want to specifically deal with these two. I think they're important. I think it's important for the work that the brothers and sisters are going to talk about today. But I want the audience, I want them to have a basic understanding of what it is as they're looking at it. So you see the historical and cultural differences there. I want to make these differences important. So the introduction. This presentation exposes historical and cultural distinctions between the term freedmen and African American. Understanding these differences help clarity, identity, heritage, and community context. A lot of times we lose the context of us, and people pseudo-rise us with certain information in certain terms. Dr. Mayat. Okay, the historical context of freedmen refers to formerly enslaved African Americans emancipated after the Civil War, 1865. Linked to legal status during the Reconstruction era, specific to descendants of enslaved Africans in the USA. And I think this is a point that needs to be highlighted. It's specific to descendants of enslaved Africans in the US. When I get back to the end, you'll see why that's so important. Examples: Freedmen's Bureau, Freedmen's Schools. Identity and meaning of African American. A broad cultural, ethnic, and racial identity for people of African descent in the U.S. Okay, so you can get to the U.S. and you be classified as an African American, no matter where you come from, right? Caribbean. And watch this. Encompasses descendants of enslaved Africans and immigrants from Africa and the Caribbean. It's an emphasis on cultural continuity. Go ahead. What are you saying, Doc?
I want to interject really quickly, Ankh. And this is why when you and I were arguing on the telephone, so I want the family to know, and maybe the people who are just watching us don't know, that a lot of these conversations that we have publicly are birthed from arguments that Ankh and I have behind closed doors. This is why when you and I talked, I said, Ankh, you don't think we should throw the term African American away? No, we shouldn't throw it away. I said, Ankh, it is not specific to our lineage here in America. Anybody that comes over here who's a descendant, who is of African descent, can claim to be an African American. This is why I said I do believe that we should have a name that is specifically for us, that other black immigrants cannot come into the country and hijack. And you were you were like, no, 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 African American, they know who's who, and they, you went through all that. But in your slide, these two bullets talk about exactly what I was arguing on the telephone that day. But please continue.
I know I'm sharp as a harp, though. Let me finish.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead. All right, go
It,
ahead.
it encompasses descendants of enslaved Africans and immigrants from Africa and the Caribbean. Okay. It emphasizes cultural continuity and community identity. Now, see, I think that's important to emphasize cultural continuity and community identity once you get to the United States. Example, African American history, culture, and community. Key differences. Let's deal with the differences here. Okay, freedmen, specific to descendants of formerly enslaved Africans in the U.S., historically linked to the legal status, post-emancipation, linked to post-Civil War Reconstruction context, African Americans. It's a broad identity for all people of African descent in the U.S., primarily a cultural ethnic identity, spans historical, contemporary experiences. Now, this chart shows the key differences, right? Freedmen, specific to descendants of enslaved Africans in the U.S., African American is a broad identity for all people of African descent in the U.S.
That's what I was trying to tell you.
Of course, linked to post-emancipation legal status and Reconstruction, cultural and ethnic identity encompasses historical and modern experiences. And these are the sources: National Archives and Records Administration, Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture, and the Journal of African American History. Now, so that's a basic for what we're going to be talking about. Now, Doc, my point was that
did you change your position?
No, I didn't. I'm still the same. No, of course not. I'm still there.
I'm rolling with Freedmen. I'm rolling with Freedmen.
No, I'm not rolling with Freedmen. I'm rolling with Freedmen in specific cases, right? If need be.
That's what I said. I said that on the phone. Go ahead.
My point is, those who have enslaved us know who the hell they're going to give their money to when it's time. See, when you start to write that check, if they write that check, they're not going to allow, no matter what you name yourself, they're going to allow the people that came into the country in the 1900s, after slavery and all that, and get that check. They're not going to do that. Not even a little bit. So my point was that the African Americans actually encompasses all that. Now, if you want to get specific with it, right? You want to say, well, freedmen too, that's fine. So then we got to have a conversation around that, and you got to educate people, because the question will be this: why now? Why all of a sudden is the freedmen conversation? Is there? Is it hiding? No, it's in plain sight, right? So those who understand who they must pay, they understand all of that. They get the gist of it. They know what it is before they cash out their money, just like insurance companies, right? If you try to con an insurance company, they're gonna come in with your claim. They're gonna look at your claim. They're not going to let you flim-flam. They're not going to let immigrants that was not enslaved in the Americas come and suck up the daggone funding. I think your point was, well, we need to make that distinction, right, legally, right, so that won't happen. I never actually disagree with that. What I'm actually against is that the misuse of the term freedmen and pseudorizing us as African Americans and playing this game. We need real education on the subject. That's why I actually did the quick presentation, so we get a general idea of it, so nobody can't come and figure it out, because I've heard a lot of conversation on it, and it don't be that right there, Doc. That's my point.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to bring on the family, some freedmen families with us. All right. And we got brother Lord Abba, we got brother Ali is in the building. Peace and love to you. And sister, don't get me. Tell me it one more time. I want to call you Antonia.
It's Antonia.
Antonia. Sister Antonia is in the building. And so peace and love to your family. Welcome to the platform. How are you?
Peace. What's going on?
Hey,
happy belated birthday, and I'm glad you're feeling much better.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm glad you're feeling better, man.
Thank you so much. And then look, brother Ali, you and I were going back and forth on Instagram. I felt so bad. I had to keep on changing it. Oh, brother Ali, we could do it this day. We could do it that day. And I was feeling terrible. And as you can see, I did not go live for 2 weeks. This is the first time that I've been live. You know,
it's important that you're doing okay. That's the main thing. I wasn't stressing it.
Nah, already. And so
real quick, Doc. So We need to get the FBA crap up out of there, though.
Hold on.
See,
We
that's
gonna
the
get there.
first thing we got. We got to
No,
get them first.
we
But
no,
go
we
ahead,
about no,
because
we
I'm
about to,
chomping at the bits right there.
no, we about
Because
to go
it's
there.
a fundamental difference between the freedmen and the FBA pseudoisms. And I'm telling you, bro, it's a difference. FBA is a pseudo operation based off of people weaponizing our African Americanness against us.
Hold on, brother.
All right,
We gonna
okay. I
get there.
just want to make that known. What,
No,
what
no, no.
side of the fence I stand on?
No.
Simple.
So we're going to get there. So
Yeah, slow me down. Go ahead.
the first question for the panel is this. The first question for the panel is this. Calm down, brother Ankh. Take a sip of Sprite or something. So the first question
I
is
don't
this.
drink Sprite. I
Okay,
drink
well,
water.
drink some water, brother. So the first question is this, guys. So what should we be calling ourselves? Because brother Ankh and I were going back and forth on the phone, and I was telling him, I was like, African American. You know, if you're talking about us, that term is played now because it really now anybody a black Elon Musk could be considered an African American at this point. So you're not talking about us. And so we were going back and forth, and I said, there's so many terms out here: African American, Black American. You hear ADOS, American Descendant of Slavery. You know, now you hear FBA, Foundational Black American. I wanted to ask the panel your thoughts on what term you all think that we, and when I say we, I'm talking about us who are descendants from West and Central Africa. We've been here. We built this country. Okay, we came over on those slave ships. We built this country. We worked from Kansas to Kansas. We participated in self emancipation, legal emancipation. We fought on every wars. We experienced Jim Crow. We was here through the civil rights movement, here through the Black Power movement. That lineage, and I want to be clear what I'm talking about. That lineage. What is the best designation? African American, Black American, American descendant of slavery, foundational Black American, or just simply freedmen? What are your thoughts?
I like to jump in. Let me know if you can hear me okay, because I think my connection is a little choppy.
Oh yeah, you're good to go, brother.
Okay. Well, I think there are two different things happening. You're talking about two different ways of identifying people, two different reasons for identifying people. The terminology is African American, Black American, foundational Black American, Afro American, Negro, colored, all of these different terminologies that are some in some form of fashion associated with race are just that. Those are basically like racial classifications, colorized racial classifications that came from Europeans from early on. This particular term, freedman, actually represents a status that was acquired by emancipated people at the time of the Civil War from a national perspective. You're talking about from the 1860s, right? 1863 with the Emancipation Proclamation, and then nationally with the 13th Amendment, 1865. So this terminology really is a term that denotes the status that a certain group of Americans acquired upon emancipation. And that status then, or that terminology then, was conferred upon their descendants, which we have documentation that speaks to that specifically as a class of people that continue to grow even after emancipation, which ultimately includes the descendants of the emancipated. So that's one of the things that a lot of people don't get, is that you're actually having two different conversations. One is a race conversation. Another one is one based on status and class that pertains to the specifically to the issue of the emancipation of a group of people and the descendants that came behind them. So it's really a matter of choice. So if you want to racially categorize yourself as Black American, Negro, colored, whatever, that's your personal choice. Like no one can tell you how to self-identify, and that's not our job. That's not what we're here trying to do. We never tried to tell anybody to take away their racial categorization, right? The thing we were saying was that this particular terminology, freedmen, represents something specifically as it pertains to legislation and how we can approach legislation from a non-race based perspective, because that's very important when you take into consideration what's been going on from the Supreme Court perspective in terms of shutting down all race-based approaches to legislation, policy, etc. And so what we came to with the research that we were doing was that this terminology is something that was used by the United States government to do remedial justice on behalf of our class of Americans from the time of emancipation, like Ankh was saying earlier. You had the Freedmen's Bureau. You had the Freedmen's Bank. These things, these institutions were enacted by way of congressional acts. Right there, there's a charter for the Freedmen's Bank. That charter is actually a piece of legislation that was enacted by Congress that establishes the Freedmen's Savings and Trust Bank, regardless of how it functioned. Because we're not even talking about whether or not the bank was overthrown by white people and it was looted and all of the money was taken. We're not even talking about that. We're speaking specifically about how this thing was approached and how they were able to do something on behalf of a specific class of Americans that was not based on race, but based on their status in relationship to this country. And that's all we're saying. There's a way to delineate. There's a way for us to delineate between American blacks and foreign blacks without even invoking race, which is good for us because we want to be able to withstand constitutional challenges.
Brother Unc, what's your thoughts? Because I see you shaking your head like, yeah. What you think, Brother Unc? Like, you like, yeah.
Well, that
Oh,
shit
what he
was
just said.
fire.
What he just said. Yeah.
Was fire right there. That was definitely fire. I like the way he put that. These brothers are well studied. Trust me, that was fire. Those were your same sentiments. You didn't quite put it that way, but they was your
No.
that was definitely your sentiments, though. You was basically saying we need a term. And at this point in the conversation, based off of the pseudo FBA, we definitely need a term that has historical accuracy and the freedom of African descendants. That's real right there. I'm not fighting that. But I love the term African American and Black Americans. But but when you go to court, though, you better have that paperwork right. So yes, I'm in favor of that. Absolutely. And I've talked to Abba for about 2 years. I wanted to make sure Abba had his thing together. And I listened to this group for 2-3 years to make sure they wasn't coming with the pseudo Morris package. And I wanted to make sure that. So yes, I like the way they doing their thing. They thing is very clear and very concise. Like you said, right? The racialized term, that's your choice. But ain't no way to figure that out. That's why we all crazy with the hip hop right now. Who is black? Who's not black? Are the Egyptians black or not? There is no, you cannot get concise with that because there is no race. Race is a social construct. So now if you're suing on a racial construct, how you gonna get some money? You can't, because they can slip and slide and fake and out. Other people can dip and dab, and the people that really need it the most can get left out. And we know how that go. We get left out all the time.
Anybody else want to add? Sister, do you want to add to what Brother Ali said? Do you have any thoughts on that? Lord Abba, do you have any thoughts? Did you want to add to it?
Yeah, I'll let the
You want to
sister
go first,
go.
Naheem? So
I
I
mean,
just
yeah,
want to
I,
address something. So
go
which
ahead.
one you want to go first, Naheem?
No, go ahead,
Okay.
sis.
I just want to add context to the situation that we are in imminent danger of not getting reparations for our people. And this way is the best way to have to go. I'm in the ground and I'm in Boston and Connecticut, and I actually interact with the community on a daily basis. I'm on the reparations task force of the city of Boston. I was recently appointed. I sit with politicians. I'm at every meeting you can think of. And to be perfectly honest, this initiative around the country was started by Black immigrants, Pan Africans. So we're running around trying to put the fires out because they had it as being an all Black Lives Matter situation. They keep saying African descent or people from African descent, which flattens the blackness. And they wanted to be Black African American. And we had a real huge debate for the last 4 months. We've been sitting down with them and we tried to get them to remove African descent from the legislation because we were asked to merge our bills together in Massachusetts. And I'll speak to that real quickly. And I just want to let you know they refused to do so. And they put African American people of African descent, which racializes it. And we try to explain to them that African is even a race. So I just want to add to Uncle statement that there's a concerted effort to racialize it and to pan Africanize it, which is putting us in imminent danger. And so the efforts that we have of getting the correct legislation with American freemen is crucial. In my city alone, the ordinance for the city of Boston, it was done by all Black immigrants, Cape
Wow.
Verdean, West Indian, Haitian, and now that we've gotten American freemen in it, they don't want to have anything to do with it. So I'll let Brother Naheem talk. I just want to add that context real quick.
No, so don't, sister. You made a really good point. So we have, like you said, we have to delineate because Brother Ankh said earlier. Well, they
We
know
have
who you
to.
are. They know. We use the term African American or Black American. They know who we are, and you're telling us. You're like, look, I sit on the board out here on the reparations task force, and they have
They don't.
flattened it. They have flattened it to the point where when they say all people of African descent, they flatten it to the point where they are jeopardizing our reparations
Seriously jeopardizing it.
if we do not delineate. It's, and I'm talking about, instead of saying
Exactly.
African American, Black American, if we're not using terms like
African
freedmen,
descent.
right? They're using African, people of African descent, which is African American, Black
Mm-hmm.
American. If we don't delineate and use terms like freedmen, then
Mm-hmm.
we do jeopardize. Because Ankh is saying that they automatically know who we are,
No,
and
they
you're
don't
saying that's
know.
not the
No, they
case.
don't. Can I just give you a good example? We
Please.
had a bill that we presented, a proposal that we presented 2023. That bill had an oppositional bill, this was racialized. And so we were fighting back and forth. Our bill actually went to the Judiciary Committee and they had it under study. We actually had meetings with them, the brothers and I. They were really interested and understood American freedom. You could tell that the politicians had studied it. The other bill was a barrier. Okay, so the bill went to study, the legislation session ended. They asked us to sit down together and come up with one bill. We actually were meeting with the Pan Africans, and I'm going to say that like that because that's what they were. Because I was the only person in the room that believed in delineation, believed in heritage lineage. Um, these people refuse to merge the bills together, and it's the white politicians. They don't know who we are. They think we're all black. They think we're all African American. So they're basically saying to us, listen, you guys get it together. Figure out what you want to be called because we can't make that determination.
Wow.
And after 4 meetings, the meet is stalled because the Pan Africans refuse to remove African descent. They refuse to remove African American. And so that's a trick bag. And so anybody who comes into America, whether it be next month, next week, whatever, would have been able to benefit from reparations. And that's what they want. They want an open door policy.
No,
And so the brothers can talk more to that because they were part of that as well too. I just want to give that context to Unc that
please do.
white
Yeah.
people that are making decisions do not know the difference between us. They don't. They
On
don't.
purpose. They do
We
that
know the
on purpose,
difference.
though. That's an on purpose move. Because watch this. If we can sit here on this little conversation and understand there's a difference between people that's brought over on the slave ships and people that came in as immigrants through Ellis Island, whatever it is, and all that. If we can know that, then by surely they can. Now I'm saying you don't stand up in court and have that type of fight, right? You have legal jargon. You got to have everything in place. So I absolutely get your point there. Yeah, they can. So you're basically saying is, since y'all want to act like y'all don't know who we are, we have historical precedents that clearly show you who we are. I like that. I'm with you, since I'm on board.
Okay. Lord Abba.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up my notes because I wanted to read. And peace, Sister Doctor Ma'at.
Peace to
First
you,
and
warrior.
foremost,
Peace to you, warrior.
um, uh, glad you're feeling better, my brother Ankh. Ankh is like I don't know. I think me and Ankh might be distant cousins or something, man. We're gonna have to do a genealogical search or so. I'll be listening. Somebody sent me a clip. They was like, listen to Ankh talk about freedom. You know, I jumped right on the video. Like, yo, Ankh, you wrong, man. Cut it. Like, cut it out. What are you talking about?
Am I
Right?
wrong now?
But
Am I wrong now?
uh, I
I'm
mean,
wrong now.
you was starting off on shaky ground, but once my brother Ali, gave you some crutches and a cane,
No, I'm talking
you're
about the
stabilizing a
presentation.
little bit.
No, I'm talking
But,
about the presentation. I'm talking about
but
the presentation.
there were some things in the presentation that I thought was off, and maybe I misheard it. So
Yeah.
and I don't, I just want to say that during the debate, students for fair admissions versus Harvard and University of North Carolina, there was a debate centered, like people speak about the affirmative action portion of that case. But there was another important element of that case. And one of the newspapers wrote about it for whatever reason. I just cannot find that screenshot. And the case was, the other thing that was being argued was if Friedman was a race neutral or a race conscious term. So the two freedmen on the Supreme Court now, and that's if Ketanji Brown Jackson is actually of this freedman class, were having this specific debate. And one of the things that Clarence Thomas did was like, oh, so you want to have a race-based debate? Cool. So he broke down freedmen just the way we said it was, a race-neutral political status. But then he spoke about the black race. He said you cannot say that the black race is doing poorly and underperforming. For instance, Caribbeans of the black race come over to the United States of America and do very well. In fact, they do better than Native African Americans or Native Black Americans, whichever term he used in the case. So we see that if you're having a race-based debate on the subject and we use black according to this country's racial classification system under the original what is it? Federal Directive 15 that was first done in 1977, where you get the five racial classifications, which, in my opinion, were mirrors of the blooming back five races of mankind. And in that, we see that it said that black meant a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. That wording is just crazy, right? Black racial groups of Africa. I thought black was only one race. But in that, whoever is here in the United States of America, no matter where they come from, they are classified as black. So this was one of the things that Clarence Thomas was able to show in his concurring opinion, that you can't have a race debate, because if you're having a race debate, it's going to be inclusive. So what Antonia was talking about in Boston is what the people were trying to do. They were trying to include all of these people. And you have Pan-African groups like Narcan and Cobra. Ron Daniels, for instance, out of his own mouth last year said, I don't care if they got off a plane last week from Africa, they deserve reparations. So you're going to bypass slavery, segregation, redlining, Jim Crow, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Just come on over and let the United States give you a check on top of the many benefits that they already give to immigrants. So this is why this aggregation is so important to us so far as remedial justice is concerned.
That was powerful, Lord Abba. What's your thoughts, brother? What's your thoughts on that? He came. Go ahead.
First of all, Abba, based off of my work in the community, I found that people that are never wrong stay goddamn wrong. And so I don't have a problem at all of being wrong. And that's part of the maturity process. That's part of growing. That's part of why me and Doc all on that daggone phone.
We do always talk.
Brother Uncle, are you what you call me? What?
I said the other day, Lord Ab, I asked him because he couldn't say he was wrong. I said, "Are you a narcissist?"
Are you a narcissist?
I said, "Are you a narcissist?"
So I had some people. I had a couple people. So I was like, I said, "Damn."
You had to look it up. You had to look it up.
I had to look it up. I say, Miss Tiffany trying to skate around it. I was like, man. And I was thinking, I was like, well, maybe it take a daggone narcissist to deal with these pseudos at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? But no, when it comes to my friends that are intelligent, right? No, I'm not a narcissist. And I will readily admit when I am wrong. And I'm sure we have bits and pieces of that in our character, right? But what I will say is, for me to adhere to the rules and regulations of science and scientific literacy, right? You're going to be wrong a lot of times, right? Especially this thing right here. A lot of us aren't college educated, and being college educated doesn't stop you from being wrong. Having a degree in science does not stop you from being wrong. But that's actually part of the process. It's when you're wrong, right? Is where you can do the most growth, right? So I don't have a problem with going this conversation. What I do understand is that go ahead, Miss Tiff. I see her. Mm-hmm. That's a powerful sister right there, though, right?
Oh, yes,
but what I do understand is that without denying it, if you had to look at FBA, right, and ADOS,
I'm glad you're going into that.
And look at Freedmen, right, and look at African American. Okay, when you look at the Freedmen, it's definitely grounded in point blank. These are the people that was freed. Very clear, no ifs and buts about it, and it's not racialized at all. Okay, so you got to give it that. Now, where we feel our comfortabilities, right, are different than when we're trying to get some daggone money. Two different ideas. I love Pan-Africans. I love African in the diaspora, right? That's not an issue for me. When it comes to getting our money based off what our ancestors went through, I ain't trying to hear none of that. I ain't trying to hear FBA as a tribe. The hell with all that. I'm saying that our ancestors right? That were meticulously through business operations helped move the global commerce market. They had insurance, right? They had insurance dealing with us when we died. That means if you died, they still made money off of you. Pick up the Vance. It's a great book he had me reading. I'm gonna say it one more time.
Mhm.
When you died
Right.
as a slave, right?
Mhm.
People who owned you could still get money. As a matter of fact, they had rent to own slaves. People don't talk about that. I'm gonna say it
Mhm.
again, meaning you could finance getting slaves. Well, I only got this amount of money, we'll finance the rest for you. People don't think about how much it was a business. Well, since it was a business, then we got to get real technical and talk about that business and talk about the freedmen. That's important. If it's
Sister,
a
sister.
business operation, then that term right there actually handles that business operation. I'm with that
No,
all the
Sister
way. It don't
Anthony,
take me long to catch up.
you got her excited. She wanted to jump in. As soon as you started talking like that, Sister Anthony said, I want to jump in there. Go ahead, sister. What you want to say?
I just want to make sure that I add the context. So I put the both bills in the chat for you. I don't know if you want to bring them up or review them. I don't know if Brother Ali has them. But Massachusetts is clearly a state that has to answer to the American freedmen. They sanctioned slavery in 1641, and the persons who penned it were actually white clergy. Nathaniel Ward, he actually is a white clergyman who came and he wrote the legislation that enslaved us here in Massachusetts, 1641. Also, Massachusetts is the first colony to sanction slavery, but not only that, also began Jim Crow. So Massachusetts has to answer to our ancestors and the legacy of slavery here, and that's why we take it so serious, and I think it's extremely important. Um, the one other thing I wanted to say is that unless we speak up and unless we educate people to explain to them, you can have heart for Pan Africanism, you can expatriate, you can go back to your motherland, whatever you want to do. We're not trying to stop you do that. But when it comes to legislation, if you want to talk about the legacy of slavery, it has to be American freedmen. There was no African American in the 1600s. There was no black. You know what I'm saying? So we have to stick with the status that we were given by the federal government. And that was the American Freedmen Act of 1865. And a lot of people need to understand that and learn that. And as you can see across the nation, and the brothers will speak to you, everything race based is being knocked down. DI, everything. And so that's why we have to have something to hold on to that makes sense. And there's an old gentleman who told me, OG, he's like, Anthony, you're running around in circles. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, you're running around, with the ADOS, the census slaves, whatever. He said, the keys are in the Constitution and the Capitol and the White House. And I never understood what he meant until I teamed up with the brothers. It's been there the whole time. American
Mm,
Freedmen has been on the books the whole
the
time.
whole
It
time.
was never dismantled. We just never enforced it. And
Very
so
Absolutely.
true.
that's what I spend my days doing. Right.
I no,
It was
no,
always there.
absolutely. Let me ask you all this. So I know that Brother Ali made it clear. He was like, "Look, the term, freedman is not racialized; it's a status. Could it also be? Could it be both a status in an ethnic group, though? Can it be? Can it be both? You all are saying
Well,
no. I see sisters like,
it,
no, 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 no.
I'll say this: it can be right. It depends on if that's what the people want.
Okay.
I don't want that. I At a certain point, I was thinking like maybe we should do that because that could be the delineating terminology, but I don't want it, and for two reasons. No, number one,
Mm-hmm.
there's these things called suspect classifications that trigger what's known as strict scrutiny in the courts, right? Strict
Mm-hmm.
scrutiny is the highest form of judicial review that there is. And usually, when you get to that point, if it's based on race, you're not going to pass that. So, what's going to wind up happening is it's going to get struck down for
Yeah, I didn't say
unconstitutional.
race. I said ethnicity. But
Right,
go ahead.
right.
I know
But
some
nah,
people
I'm going to,
interchange them.
because yes, that's exactly where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
We made a presentation of the Office of Management and Budget, which actually informs the Census Bureau. What's on the Census Bureau forms comes from the Office of Management and Budget. We actually did a presentation along with ADOS and some other people about the fact that we actually don't even have an ethnicity of record in this country. We've never had an ethnicity of record in this country. The only ethnicity that this government has is Hispanic or non-Hispanic. That's all they have. And either you are that or you're non-Hispanic. So our thing was maybe we should use this Freedman terminology to be an ethnic term for our people since we don't have one. African American was supposed to be, but they
Mhm.
didn't actually do the work to ensure that the Office of Management and Budget and the Census Bureau looks at it that way. That they took it and made it a racial term. They made it
They
synonymous
sure
with
did.
black. So
They sure
African
did.
American and black are synonymous terms. It doesn't even
Mhm.
matter how you feel about it. They're both considered racial terms by this government. And so we tried to do that. It was a lot of chaos at the Office of Management and Budget. People were coming at us for trying to do it. They were saying we were trying to reclassify 40 million black Americans behind their backs and all this. But when I started to really think about it, this is just me. I'm not speaking for the entire organization in this instance. I felt like we shouldn't even be trying to deal with race and ethnicity at all, either one, because from a reparationist perspective, race and ethnicity are both considered suspect classifications that will trigger strict scrutiny. That's number one. Number two, the Office of Management and Budget, after all of the fiasco that took place with people trying to bombard them with all of these different identities, decided that they were not going to change anything about black or African American. They were going to leave it the same because the NAACP and the Urban League urged them not to change anything. That's number one. And then number two, they decided what they were going to do was combine race and ethnicity, particularly being that most people don't even know the difference between the two anyway. The, on top of the fact that the Office of Management and Budget doesn't even have an actual definition of race or ethnicity. These are bureaucrats that were given jobs. These are not even social scientists. These are not anthropologists. They're not sociologists or any of that. These are bureaucrats, and they're doing a certain job underneath the executive branch of collecting data for certain information based on these terminologies. It has nothing to do with actual science. As a matter of fact, when you look at Special Policy Directive 15, it gives you a disclaimer saying that those classifications, black, white, African American, whatever, Hispanic, these classifications are not based on science or anthropology, and they
So, brother,
shouldn't be used
brother, I've been
for
saying that
it.
for years. Go ahead, though,
Yeah,
brother.
so they actually have a disclaimer because they know, and one of the things that Justice Neil Gorsuch spoke to was that very thing in the affirmative action case. He said these are bureaucrats. These are not people who specialize in the science of these particular areas that they're categorizing these people in. They're bureaucrats, and they already put that disclaimer out that these classifications should not be used as anything scientific or anthropological because they're not rooted in that. And so my thing is no, we shouldn't. We should keep it away from race and ethnicity because me personally, I think we can do away with race and ethnicity because we don't need it. It didn't never help us. There's nothing that anybody can look at from history to law to anything that says that, yeah, being racially categorized this way actually catapulted our people into upward mobility. That none of that stuff has helped us in any shape, form, or fashion. Now we love it because of our history and our emotional connections to all of that. But at the
Black
end,
African power.
Yeah,
right.
Black African power.
What I'm saying, and I get all of that. But what I'm saying
Black
is,
African power.
just being racially categorized like that has not done anything. This is why we're here talking about reparations. This is why we're here still fighting civil rights fights. This is why people are rolling back certain policies and programs because that stuff hasn't helped us, and it doesn't. It's not something that is firm enough for us to stand upon. And so, for me, no, Dr. Mahad, I don't think we should use treatment for an ethnicity. I personally don't think we even need an ethnicity. I think population group, the terminology population group or people group is good enough. We don't even need race because let me tell you, let me just say this: when we get caught up in race and having these race conversations, it's easy for them to then say, "Hey, you're having a race conversation. This is unconstitutional." Why even deal with that? We can still use the terms African American. We can still use the term African. We can still use the term black. But only thing they would need is to change what those things are from race terms to population group terms. It's nothing wrong with using the term population group. We don't have to use the word race.
Let
Okay.
me let me say this real quick, Doc.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother.
Very simple. African Americans, right, can be considered an ethnic group. We have shared identities, uh, shared culture, shared experiences. That formulates an ethnic group. But all African Americans aren't freedmen. You can have both. I'm gonna say this again. All African Americans aren't freedmen. So I like the cohesiveness, okay, that the African American, it gives us more strength, Okay, I like that. You know, when it's time for my Caribbean brothers and the Spur brothers to fight, and they're in America, they've been living here, man, we're gonna rally around that together as African Americans. When it comes time to get that damn reparations, all African Americans aren't freedmen. I just like to add that to that. Very easy. See
Hey,
how
I
easy
mean,
that is?
that
Easy
is
work.
easy.
And you must
Easy
have
work.
got them together real quick back there, Dr. Ma'at, because he was sounding crazy the other day, a couple weeks ago when I listened to
I was on the phone
Yeah.
arguing. I said, we need to, I said, I want to use the term African American. I'm a proud
I'm still
African
using the
American.
term
I
African
said,
American.
he went there and I said, brother, I think that, I
Yeah,
mean, it's
that's
kind of watered down. I think we should be delineating. No, we don't, they know what, he went all of that. And I was like, no. So he was going back and forth.
Yeah, but see, I don't think it's watered down. But I mean, if you sit down for
In
5 minutes and think about it,
yeah, in terms of not being, in terms of not, and
correct. You
not having
said that.
enough distinction. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
you're right.
saying.
It doesn't put us in a category that we actually need. Yeah, you're right. I
That's what
agree.
I'm
I agree
saying.
with y'all. But my point is simple here that yeah, African Americans, I don't think it's to be thrown away because there are plenty of ethnic groups in the world. And under the banner of being an African American or Black American, the culture is spread around the world. There's no denying that. We've done great things. Now, whether have been able to capitalize off that and bring us reparations, that is the next step. And I'm thinking the freedmen, based off of the new pseudo ideas, is diving out the window now, like FBA.
Yeah,
Okay, I
what are the
think it's
pseudo
time for that.
ideas around? What were the pseudo ideas around Freedman? Because you meant that you was like the pseudo rise Freedman. I don't. What were the
Because
pseudo
you got
ideas
people
around
that
Freedman?
don't say it right. Man, Ali and them can tell you. Lord Abbott can tell you. Everybody representing this don't do it right. Like, come on.
Yeah,
We
there are some
let's do it.
people. There are some people who are intentionally taking this thing and trying to muck it up and muddy it up. But even in, and you're gonna have that with those that identify with FBA, but you also have those that identify with FBA who know for a fact and have said that they use FBA as a lineage identifier, but when it's time to go to court and fight and for reparations, then it's Freedman because Freedman, right, as a standalone, Freedman is a status, and I want to get into that real quick if you don't mind.
Please.
Um, the first case that we have, and I was hopping on my computer so I could pull all this stuff up so everybody could see it. You know how we do? We like to show stuff when we on these platforms, show and prove.
Go ahead.
But
Yeah, go ahead. Show your screen.
uh,
I'm right here. I'm
well,
looking.
I won't be able to do it because I'm on my phone right now, and I would have to add my other page. I would have to add another page to the stream and then do it that way. If you don't mind doing that.
Okay, you want to add something to the stream, or I'm sorry, I missed that.
So so add my other profile, right? So I'm on right now, but I can come on again under this same profile from my computer because I'm on my phone right now.
Okay,
You get what I'm saying, right?
Go
All
ahead. I
right.
can add it.
So now, but while I'm doing that, Antonia can speak to the bills that we have produced in Massachusetts, written by our own hands, and why the urgency for our people to get behind that and all of our pushes across the nation is so important.
I can do that. So, the first bill we have is a reincarnation of the last session's bill. So the last session's bill was 3921. So the current bill is HD 3865, and that's to create a commission. So the title of the bill won't say reparations. We don't put reparations in the bill. It's an act to cure us of the liabilities that ultimately restrict equity. And so, shout out to State Rep Brenda Fuki Reed. She's the person who has been hanging with us and diligently setting up meetings and making sure the language is tight. But she's a state rep here in the state of Massachusetts. And again, her name is State Rep Brandy Fluker Reed. She started off with working with us since 2023. The original bill went to study. They were like, listen, we want to, look at this even more, whatever, so forth and so on. The session ended. When this session began in January, they asked us to represent the bills. And so we presented this bill. The bigger bill and the most masterful bill is H3 3879. That's an act to create Massachusetts Agency of Freedmen Affairs. And so the brothers can speak to that, but we wanted to duplicate what was supposed to be um, come to fruition with the Freedmen's Bill. and we wanted to start it at the local level so that we can springboard it to the federal level. And that's the ultimate goal, to open up the Freedmen's Bureau on the federal level. So because we were running around putting out the fires, like I was explaining to you, changing the verbiage, making sure that American freedmen and our ancestors and the legacy of slavery reflected what we went through with the 250 years of slavery, the Reconstruction, Jim Crow, Black Codes, segregation, stuff that most of the Black immigrants didn't partake in or didn't suffer from, because
Absolutely.
again, they didn't come here until after 1965. Prior to that, there was 1% Black immigrant in the United States. And so they didn't start coming in huge waves into the 70s and 80s. So our historical harms, which are badges and into the slavery, were suffered by our ancestors. What we find is when we're lobbying and when I'm out here talking to people, they want to use slavery as the foundation and then springboard to contemporary matters now. Like, oh, we can't afford to live in Massachusetts. Our median wealth is $8. Yes, we want to get this reparations, but they don't want to talk about the historical context of slavery, and that's what really disheartens me. And so I try to put the fire out every time I can. Nope, if you want reparations for slavery, we need to talk about our ancestors who are really here, and we're descendants of the ancestors. And I tell my own story. I'm only three generations removed. My mother was an illegal sharecropper because her parents were sharecroppers, and on both sides, my father's as well too, because their parents were slaves. That's how recent it is. People make it seem like it's so long ago. And every summer, my grandmother made sure I went down south to be on the property that they sharecropped. So I had to pump the water, slop the hog, feed the pigs, wring the chicken's neck, pick crops. So I had that experience. So I can't unlive that. And so that's why I'm really serious about this initiative. Just want to say on a state level, we're just waiting for the House Council to review the Agency for Freedmen Affairs, and that's how you know we're really in there, because they don't even take this stuff serious if it's not serious. And so our verbiage that was put in there is airtight. They just want to make sure that it's legislation proof, and then they're gonna load the text into the bill, and that's what we're waiting for. Um, so those two bills we did after trying to work with the Pan Africans, and I keep saying Pan Africans because they really are. And the Pan Africans of yesterday are not the Pan Africans of today. They're not the
Mm.
I am a revolutionary, Black Power. They're all about the bag. Every single group of people that I've met with, it has always been about the bag. They don't care about the reparations. They don't care about our history. They just want to tie it to Africa. That's every conversation I've had. And it's
Mm.
been the most difficult thing to be in the community, because a lot of these people are American freedmen, and their old school way of thinking and ideology is Pan Africanism. And I'm starting to, get them to turn around a little bit, because I'm showing and proving that the Pan Africans of today are not the ones of yesterday. And so I never really wanted to stop people from believing in what they want to believe in. That's not my job. But when it comes to this business of legislation and reparations, it has to be American freemen. And we have got to disconnect ourselves from people of African descent language, African American language. And at one point when we had the ordinance, they had Black slave, African enslaves, and we were able to change that for the ordinance for the city of Boston. That's how bad it is. So when
Wow.
Unc speaks about um, they know they, they know, meaning the Pan African people that are against us, but the legislators and the politicians don't know. Even my mayor, I talked to my mom. They have no clue about our rich history. They don't have no clue who would be entitled to reparations or not. We have to tell them, and we have to show them the proof. So it's like being in a car accident. You go to court and you come in with your clutches, you come in with the
Right.
cast and the neck brace.
Right.
They still want us to prove what is contextually in history. And so you have to prove this in order for us to get this reparation. It's not about, oh, we were slaves and we've been marginalized and we're despaired and we're only worth $8 today. So we're having to really prove this information. And so the brothers have diligently, for the last 2 years, met with every legislator I put them in front of. We met with the Judiciary Committee. We met with the state reps. We met with the Equity and Inclusion Cabinet. And every time we met with them, people are in awe with the information that we give them. So we have a huge following as far as backing us. It's the community that seems to be more stuck on the traditional African American Black and we're all one and kumbaya kind of thing, whatever. And I'm just gonna say this real quick before Naheem speaks. Everybody else has delineated. 2018, there was a letter from the OMB saying that now for the 2020 census, and I work for it. If you are from any other country, you can designate your country of origin. So now the census says Black African, African American, Jamaican, Trinidadian, Barbadian, Honduran. So they have that right to do that since 2018, and they
Wow.
asked for that. And in the state of Massachusetts, a lot of people don't know this. In the state of Massachusetts, we have the Office of Immigration, we have the Office of New Americas. We even had, since we started with this reparation ordinance in December 2022, the Black immigrants that found out that they couldn't get reparations once we started getting this verbiage in, they wouldn't create an Office of Latino and Caribbean Affairs. They snatched
Wow.
the idea from the Freedmen's Bureau and what we were doing. And then when they heard the Supreme Court ruling, they knew it would be racial. They changed it to cultural affairs. And guess what? We're not included. So Unc has to be really, cautious about being kumbaya and African Americans share the same culture. And we don't. To be perfectly honest, they're not like us. And I hate to say that. They delineate and they do what they need to do in their best interest. And we have to start doing that too. Last year in August, they petitioned and did resolutions for every Caribbean holiday. We have Marcus Garvey Day. We have Jamaican Freeman Day, Trinidadian holiday. I mean, that doesn't belong in a city. It doesn't belong in another country. It's okay to celebrate that stuff, but that belongs in your country. And that just gives people more reason to wave their flags and not adapt and respect the American flag or respect us too. And that's what I'm seeing. So it's real deep. And I'm on the ground. I'm everywhere. I'm in the meetings. This is the kind of stuff that's going on underneath our nose that we're not paying attention to.
Right. Absolutely, sister.
Naheem had something to say.
Thank you so much for that. You dropped a lot of jewels. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. You saying delineation is a must, and you just said everybody else is doing it. We need to do it too, damn it. So I hear you, Queen. Go ahead, brother Naeem.
Yeah, so definitely, man, definitely. And people need to know, definitely need to know what's going on around the country politically because they have no idea. They do not understand how the Pan Africanist movement today is not like the Pan African movement of yesterday. The Pan Africanist movement today is a movement of grifters who want to keep this racialized thing going because they want to keep getting the bag. So, we got to beware of that. It's not what people think that it is at the top level. At the
Let,
top level is beyond scholarship and academia. Yeah, what's up, sis?
let me give you just a little pushback on that. You know how
Hmm.
earlier we were saying that just like you got people who will misrepresent freedmen, you have people who misrepresent Pan-Africanism as well. You understand what I'm saying, Lord Ab? But just like you had people that come in and they do the flim flammy stuff and they misrepresent what Friedman is about, you had the same thing. And we know Pan-Africanism is an ideology. We're not talking about a status or an ethnicity, but it's an ideology, and you have people who do misrepresent Pan Africanism. So I don't want to make the blanket statement because I consider myself a Pan Africanist. I wouldn't say that it's just all about grifting. No, because that's not who I am. You understand what I'm saying, Lord Abba? I will
No,
say
definitely.
that is my ideology that I subscribe to. I
Hmm.
subscribe to Black nationalism. I subscribe to Pan Africanism. Yes, I am a freed men, free men and free women. Yes, I fall under that category as well. So that would be my status. But if you say, well, Dr. Maya, what is your ideology? I would tell you Pan Africanism and Black nationalism. That's what I would tell you. If you say,
And that
Dr.
is,
Maya, what is your
mhm.
spiritual system? I would say Ifa. So I mean, that's who I am. And so when you say Pan Africanism is just about grifting, nah, I got to give you some pushback on that because that's not what I'm about. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking about people like shout out to Baba Imhotep Fadiu. He just dropped a book called Scientific Pan Africanism that breaks down exactly what Pan Africanism is. And I recommend that everybody get that book so that we can stop thinking that Pan Africanism is one way when it's really something else. But go ahead, brother.
No, definitely. And that's why I was, very careful to say the people at the top, right? They you represent a small minority. Remember, me and Ali just was on, what was that, 2 years ago,
Mm.
debating Asa Imhotep. My man Sanjetti backed out. He knew he was a fish out of water
Oh, I
trying to
remember that. Yep, I
have,
remember
trying
that.
to, right? So if you look at what brother Asa Imhotep was trying to debate at that time, it aligned with what I was speaking about. And I know that you've had this discussion with us. Me and you have spoken by phone.
Oh yeah,
You,
yeah.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you interviewed Dr. Darry after reading his book from here to equality so that you can have a full understanding
Yes.
of what's being spoken about, as opposed to saying, nah, nah, that ain't it, that ain't it. We just one big African, right? Well, that's not what our argument is. What we're saying is, in the United States of America, we are American and we can be Pan African if we choose, right? They're the quote unquote whites are Pan European if you
Come
think
on.
about it,
That part right
right?
there. That part right
Right.
there, Lord
So
Abba.
I don't have no problem with a Pan African like you, because you fully understand. I have a problem with those people. Number one, who are grifters, and number two,
Absolutely.
you got people that say we have no culture while stealing our culture. And these are people that are from usually the continent or Caribbean, dress like us, talk like us, use our slang, etc., etc. Right. So that I just wanted to clarify what I meant. When I said those people at the top, because that's where it's largely coming from. Dr. Greg Cars, etc., etc.
Oh,
So,
you can call
oh
out
yeah,
Dr. Carr.
oh
Woo.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been trying to get a debate with Dr. Carr. He keeps trying to brush me off on Twitter. Said I'm promoting imperialism because I fly the American flag, although I'm an American citizen, and a bunch of other nonsense. So let's get to this real quick, because I don't want to be long winded.
No.
No,
Wait.
go ahead, sis.
I do want to show this book. I just want to plug him really
Hmm.
quickly. Baba Imhotep, he just dropped this book called Scientific Pan-Africanism. If you're interested in grabbing the book, family, reach out to him. He's on Facebook. He's on Instagram and under Baba Imhotep. So reach out to him, family, for this book, Scientific Pan-Africanism. I wrote the foreword. I'm pumped up about that. I wrote the foreword to the book. Baba Nwalimu Barudi, he wrote the introduction. It's a fire book. And again, I think that Lord Abba and Brother Ali and Sister Antonia, this is going to change the game. This is a game changer right here for people to really understand now what Pan-Africanism is and what it is not. And so
Good.
I'm happy that he put out this work because we definitely need it. But go ahead, Lord Abba, you have the floor.
No doubt. So this is a case, 1865, of Jeffries and Jeffries. These were two brothers, and you see it says Freedman in parentheses versus the state. It says the indictment is in substantial conformity to the forms given in the code and the rules prescribed therein. It says the term freedman is descriptive of the status, and notice it has status italicized, which means it's placing emphasis on that word, the status of the defendants, and does not vitiate, meaning destroy the indictment. And then it said it has, meaning Freedman, it has legal signification. The next thing I want to show comes from Justice Kavanaugh during the oral hearings of the affirmative action ruling. So, Kavanaugh, this is quoted in the New York Times article. So, today, a benefit to descendants of slaves would not be race based, correct? Kavanaugh said to Cameron Norris, a lawyer arguing for the end of race based affirmative action. Norris seemed caught off guard. I think it's incorrect, Justice Kavanaugh, he said. Kavanaugh then noted that Norris had already acknowledged that the post Civil War benefits that formerly enslaved people received from the federal government were not race based. Those benefits were based on their status as having been enslaved, not their skin color. So I want people to really understand what it is that we're fighting for. This is for my brother Ankh. Ankh said, freedmen only meant the people that were emancipated. It wasn't something that was passed on to the children. Well, it's just not true. This legal status was given to a specific class of persons in the United States whose condition changed in 1865, meaning those people that were enslaved in the southern states, or what's known historically as the slave holding states. Their condition changed in this country from uh, citizens with disabilities to citizens with full rights. Now, we can argue if those full rights have been carried out, but there was a constitutional amendment that gave those citizens with disabilities the rights, privileges, and immunities of every other citizen. This is from the Corpus Juris, Volume 27, page 895, published in 1922. It says freedmen, a term which refers to that class of persons and their descendants who were emancipated during the war between the American states. And I'll give you one more, and this is from a case in 1883, Fairfield versus Lawson. This was in the Supreme Court of the Connecticut. It says the court further finds that the term freedman, as used in the will, refers to that class of persons in the United States who were emancipated from slavery during our late Civil War or by its results, and embraces also the descendants of such persons. So I wanted to clarify that because there are people that do not understand, and I can really give a whole like breakdown. We did a workshop on this, but for the sake of time, obviously I won't get into all of that detail. This is a terminology that we stopped using because the Daughters of the Confederacy, who wrote what's historically called the Lost Cause teachings, stopped using the term freedmen and used those terms that we knew when we were enslaved: Negro, Black, colored, mulatto, etc., etc., etc. So I just wanted to add that piece.
No, that was a powerful piece. That was powerful. I'm over here
It,
like like mesmerized. Like, go ahead, Lord Abba. Like, go ahead, Lord Abba. Teach. But someone,
Doc, I
Brother
would like to
Ali,
add something.
please do, Brother Ali.
A great example, and we've used this in the past, is the Indian freedmen, right? Because a lot of people will say, y'all are not freedmen, only the emancipated people are freedmen. And we're like, you don't understand. This terminology is denoting a class of people, not just the emancipated, but the descendants as well. And we would often give an example of the Indian freedmen, the Cherokee, the Choctaw, the Chickasaw, the Creek, and the Seminole freedmen, who to this day still identify as freedmen. It's not like they don't. They still do. And when they do it, no one questions them. No one questions the veracity of the claim. It's like, yo, these are the freedmen. As a matter of fact, we've even had certain people from another group saying that those are the real freedmen and we're not. And I'm like, well, their freedman status comes after ours. So how is it that they're the real freedmen and we're not, even though our freedman status actually starts in 1863? There was a commission that was established by the United States government in 1863 called the American Freedmen's Inquiry Commission. And their job was to inquire into the status or the condition of the emancipated, those who were emancipated by way of the Emancipation Proclamation of
Mhm,
1863,
mhm.
and to determine, based on their fact finding, what it was that the government needed to do in order to try to remediate the problems that they had sustained as citizens of this country who had been abrogated of their rights. And so they not only made a report, they made recommendations. And out of the recommendations of the American Freedmen's Inquiry Commission came the establishment of the Freedmen's Bureau and the Freedmen's Bank. This was their recommendation that the country needed to do something for these Americans. And they were very specific when they say American freedmen, because they were acknowledging that these are actually Americans who have been cut off from their rights of citizenship. And we need to do something affirmatively. And often say affirmative action starts with the government doing something specific for those freedmen, whether that's the Port Royal experiment, whether that's the alleged administration of the 40-acre land plots by way of the special field orders, whether that was the 1866 Freedmen's Bureau Act that provided the 20-acre land plots, even though they had to purchase some of those. But the fact of the matter is, they knew that they needed to take some affirmative action to try to place these people on some degree of equal footing with the quote unquote white citizens of the United States. And so, I often say affirmative action starts with the freedmen, and it starts with the work of Reconstruction, and it goes from there. And the true rationale for affirmative action was always reparation or remediation, not diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's something that came later as a hijacking of the affirmative action process. I'll stop there.
No, beautiful. No, thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. The only thing that I'm thinking now, and just we can go into what can we do? What are you all asking freedmen, or do you want to say freedmen and free women, or we say freedmen and cover the whole thing? But what do you all want us to do? Like, what are next steps? What should we be doing right now to push reparations forward? I know it's a lot of talk. I know you all have introduced like legislation and you're fighting for delineation, on these committees. But what do we need to do as a people? Like, what can I do right here in Baltimore, Maryland? Somebody living in Oakland, California, someone down in Atlanta, someone down in South Carolina. What can we all do to push this thing forward? Sister, yes, yes.
So to be perfectly honest, for us at this particular time, the best and the most effective thing to do is to join the United Sons and Daughters. Get the information and duplicate it across the nation. We will be more successful with numbers. So if they see consistently the American freedmen are serious, take the blueprint, the masterpiece that the brothers did for the Office of Freedmen Affairs, any legislation we have, and duplicate it across the nation. It would be so powerful.
Mm, mm,
That's the only way it's going to get done. And then regardless to what's going on in your particular region, because I guarantee you there's reparations bills that are going through under another name, like
right,
equity this or some other name that's sliding underneath and people aren't catching it. So
right.
if we have consistency across the nation, it would just be have a profound effect. And that's what we really need right now. We need people to join the Freemen consistently across the nation, United Sons and Daughters, to get this information so it can blanket the country. And as you can see, California didn't start off with American freedmen, but then they learned through trial and error. And I
Right.
just want to I'm going to say, I want to offer you an apology. It wasn't to take a dig at Pan African. My two mentors are Pan African, and we go back and forth. And once I show them what's going on, they're flabbergasted. And that's why we
Yeah.
say the Pan Africans of yesterday aren't the
Are
ones
the
of
same as
today,
today.
because
Right.
the ones at the higher, it's all about money for them. It's not the people like you, my two lovely mentors, whatever. It's the people at the top. But if you look at California, they didn't start off with American freedmen. They started off with African American, and then it was the Pan Africans that held the bills to go to the floor, and they were
Mm,
laughing and joking that they didn't put the bills on the floor. Those were Pan Africans.
mm. What about
Make
in
no
New
make no
York?
mistake.
What about in New York? I know some stuff
Same
went down.
thing. Same
Same thing.
thing.
Same
Same
people.
thing. Same thing.
So
Same
they
thing.
started
They're
off. They
all
started
Pan
off with
Africans.
African American. Did they ever go? Did they ever move to freedmen? I know you said in California they did. Did they
No, they
move?
blocked
They
the
went to
Freeman
New
bill. They blocked it.
Yeah, in New
They
York, they
blocked it.
blocked
And
that
so
bill.
right.
Yes,
So, and
they
all those
blocked
people
it.
are Pan African or Black immigrants. That's why we're trying to tell people the truth. It's not our story. It's not our made up, you're saying whatever. This is actual factual information. We
Mhm.
in Massachusetts are in a very unique situation because we have both bills going at the same time, oppositional last year. And we tried to create one bill, but we had, came to a stalemate and they refused to remove the race based language out of it. So we still have two bills. No other state has had that.
Mm,
And so technically, the opposition really presents a problem. And I don't know why they're not, picking up on the fact that everything race based has been shot down. But they insist on doing this because they want all Black people, all African Americans to get reparations. And ironically, Ron Daniels, I think, is a person that Naheem mentioned has stated that about he doesn't care if somebody came here last week or this week, they get reparations. He's on
mm.
the task force
Yeah, and
in,
he
in,
shouldn't
in,
be.
in New York.
And he
And
shouldn't
that's
be.
a conflict of
And
interest when
so,
you really look at it, man. And
right,
those people, they're
right.
trying their best to step in front of us. And then now you even have groups that are supposed to be fighting for reparations that are in bed, that claim to be the originators of all this reparations talk, that are now in bed with the Pan
And I'll say
Africans, and
that.
it's crazy. So I just want to
And
add
I'll tell you,
also, yep, I just want to add also that um, you know, every area is unique. We got a member in Baltimore, our sister Constance. Shout out to our sister Constance. She's in Baltimore, and when you look at the history of Baltimore, I think it'll help in this regard, right? You look at the what's called the Brotherhood of Liberty. They wrote a book called Justice and Jurisprudence in 1899. If you listen to what we're saying and then you read that book, you're going to see that these brothers in 1899 understood the Constitution in a way that many people just don't, white, black, or otherwise, to use those racialized terms. And you got to get in the ear of your state legislators. Yes, I would love for people to visit our website, usadof.org. Learn the information. Go to our YouTube channel, Be the Power, and Freedman University. Learn what it is that we're doing. Watch our workshop video so that you can see exactly why we're using Freedman and why this is so important to us. And once you do that, then it'll give you a little more grounding about what to do, because we give a historical breakdown. Then Antonia comes on and gives the breakdown on how to approach the legislators in the first place, et cetera, et cetera. Go ahead, Brother Ali.
I kind of want to answer that question. What we're going to wind up needing, us and our family out in California very soon, is we're going to need our family across the nation to support by contacting the state legislators. And we're going to put a call to action out. And this is something we were talking about doing jointly, because they're in the same, almost in the same position. They just recently had a Republican legislator introduce a bill that the legislative Black Caucus tried to shut down in the last legislative session out in Cali.
Mm.
They then took the same bill, hijacked it, and put descendants of American slaves and other kind of racial language in it, and then tried to represent it. Well, they did represent it. However, the family out there in the group, CJEC, the Coalition for Just Equitable California, they were able to get a Republican legislator to introduce the original bill that they had into the legislature. So what we're going to all wind up needing between us and Massachusetts, is we're going to need the family around the country to start contacting at a certain point, not yet. We're going to do a call to action, but we're going to need the family to start contacting the state legislators and letting them know, we need you to support the bills that are freedmen conscious. We need that because we want to actually see this thing through. We're not doing this to be wasting our time. A lot, like the family has just been saying, a lot of these people who are of the Pan-African persuasion, unfortunately, whether it's NARC and Cobra, Urban League, NAACP, whatever, their thing is to try to do this in a way where they can get access to appropriations money to be able to fund their organizations, their 501cs, whatever the case is. And ADOS is a part of that. ADOS has capitulated. They used to be a quote-unquote lineage-based organization. They have capitulated. They are now in line with Narcan and Cobra and the blackface Democrats who don't want reparations to happen, but see a pathway of using these
Right.
commissions and task forces to get access to appropriations money. And so that's their thing. And we're saying we need the family to support us. Let these legislators know when the time is right that you want them to support our bill, the Freedmen Conscious bill, not those race-based bills. I'm sorry.
All right. No, thank you so much. Look, Brother Ogden, pop back in. We get ready to close out. I
No,
was
we not.
asking. Yeah,
Second
we
round.
back.
Ding, ding.
Hey, look,
Ding, ding.
round two on your platform. I'm getting ready to cut out of
I'll go
here.
into this some research real quick. Like, let me go count to some of this stuff they talking about,
Yeah.
man.
Ding, ding, ding. And there's another brother in the back.
I'm just messing with you all.
There's another
That's
brother
funny, yo.
backstage named
Oh
Josh.
yeah,
Do y'all
that's
know
how
who he
Yeah,
is?
yes. That's our partner. Yes,
Okay.
indeed.
All right. Peace to you, brother Josh. We getting ready to close out. You popping in too. You
Hey,
yeah.
popping
And
back
this
in. We
is
getting ready to
this,
close out.
hey, wait. That's typical with our brother Josh. He always comes at the
Whatever.
end. So don't
Whatever.
mind our brother Josh. He does that all the
Oh
time.
yeah,
Hey,
man.
Doc, we needed one more vote for the Freedmen, and he wasn't there, and they missed it. Right back to FBA. Goodness gracious. Yeah.
I said they
hey,
needed
hey,
one more
hey,
vote. We missed it.
One more vote.
Unc,
What's going
why
on,
you
bro?
keep why you keep going at FBA? Why you don't
No,
like the
okay, let's
FBA?
do
He
this.
does.
And
He
give
does.
me
He
two.
does.
No, I actually don't.
Yes, you do.
No. I
Yes,
would
you do.
go at Freeman if I couldn't look it up and see the historical accuracy in it, and it makes sense. Now, why would I go at the FBA? They're actually going at us and our rightful ownership of those monies that they owe us. Because first of all, what is FBA? FBA is an ethnogenesis, right, of an indigenous black tribe that was already here, pre-colonial, and African slaves. That's a bunch of googly gall pseudoscience. So when you go in the court of law, right, when you dealing with this type of individual or this type of government, right, they're gonna be super sharp. Okay, they're gonna laugh you out the courtroom with that nonsense, man. I'm not sitting around let out people get laughed out the courtroom or laughed out the science room because you think evolution is like a crocodile and a duck coming together. I mean, that's ridiculous. I'm saying we play these games at the highest of levels, and those that got a microphone in their face need to do the exact same thing. So all that FBA nonsense is good for marketing. The brother is selling the culture that he has developed, and it sounds familiar to us. But at the end of the day, man, there is no indigenous black people in America. That's a bunch of pseudoscience. So look up the term freedman. There's no pseudoscience in that. Look up FBA is rough with pseudoscience. So I'm not going after them. They're actually going after our intellectual property because they think just because you say the word African or African American, whatever the hell, that we're gonna fall for it. Hey, Lord Abbott, that was back in the day, bro. We fall for it because it was that whatever. It's not that no more, bro. We got 15, close to 20 years of seasoning now. It don't take me 10 years to figure out that Freeman is based in historical documentation. It's simple as that, bro. It don't take that long. That's why I laughed at you when you said you forgot you sent me information. What I don't appreciate is you're going to send me some documents and don't think I'm going to read them. And then I come back with the right thing. Then you still hit me from the old things I used to say before you gave me the damn information. You the one do that when it comes to evolution. I've sent you documentation over and over again. And I sent you stuff about the vaccine, all that. And you still be shaky. I ain't like you, Abba. See?
Yeah. God, this dude office. Wait, Dr. Maya, hold up.
Yeah,
hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Because I want to stay on this FBA.
All right.
I snuck it in on you.
Oh, yeah, he's a funny dude, boy.
Ali brought it up, so I want to stay on that kick. So, Brother Ali, Lord Abba, and Sister Antonica, what do you all think about other terms like FBA and ADOS? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, let me just real briefly, let me say people are free to identify as they please. That's my response.
Okay, so your response is, hey, if you want to identify as African American, Black American, FBA, whatever you want to identify as, that's your prerogative. Ali, Brother Ali, do you share the same sentiments?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. The same exact thing. I don't want people to think that the freedmen movement is about trying to tell people how they should identify. No, because that's causing a lot of problems right now, and there's a lot of people debating it. The only term that I really have a disdain for is Negro. Right?
That's right.
There's a contingency of people who are trying to revive this term Negro and saying that this is our true identity. It's like, nah, man, I can't.
Hey, this dude.
Hold on. Sister,
Okay, good.
Let's Sister Antonia weigh in. Sister Antonia.
So I definitely concur with the brothers. I really don't try to change anybody's mind. I respect their ideologies. I respect what they want to call themselves. The only thing that I have a problem with is sabotaging our efforts. We have a right to act and legislate and seek reparations on behalf of our ancestors as descendants. And so if that's not what you want to do, that's fine. Don't try to stifle our efforts. Don't try to sabotage us. And stop ridiculing us. I think that's the biggest part. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people will try to ridicule us, make fun of the situation, bait us, create problems. And just like we respect who they are, respect what we're trying to do. It's really important. And that goes for all the other organizations and Black immigrants.
I'm with you. So you want to say ADOS, Black American, FBA?
I ain't with y'all with that.
I am.
Because that's fine, but guess what? That's why we all have minds, right? And I want to let you know, how do you sabotage quote unquote freedmen movement? What you do is you gain following based off of a wild term that's based in pseudoscience. Mm-hmm. It's in the face of people who will respect their voice, and it's all around the internet. That's like saying, I respect you calling yourself a Native American. I do not respect, African Americans that was enslaved, right? That will routinely say people have stolen our culture on regular occurrences and then turn around and do the same damn thing that the Europeans did. So no, I don't respect that. Y'all can say what y'all want to say about me. Maybe that's what made me. I'm not respecting African Americans that is actually sabotaging y'all movement, is actually sabotaging historical documentation by having people run around half crazy. They got way more followers than y'all do. Let's call it. It's in hip hop. Right? You heard it on Matt Hoffa show. It's everywhere. So check this. I'm not playing with them. Y'all can go ahead and play. Play the game, bro. I'm not playing. I do not respect misinformation, which is dangerous information. Pseudoscientific information and disinformation is dangerous to the African American community. And I don't respect people putting our lives in harm's way based off our love for our people and our struggle. I will never respect that. So
I don't think, but I just don't think. And let me give you some pushback. You know, me and you go back and forth all the time. I don't think that everyone who identifies as FBA or ADOS or Black American or African American
I ain't say nothing.
Subscribe to. I'm naming all of them. I'm naming all the different ideas, the different labels out there. Okay. ADOS, Black American, African American, FBA. You can't say, well, just because I identify or I may describe myself as that I then or I identify as that I subscribe to everything that comes with that. Because you have people that would identify as FBA who would say, no, I don't believe that there was a big ethnogenesis and African people was in here before. You do. And I'm telling you.
So then that's not FBA then, Doc?
No, it's not. No, yeah,
Doc,
yes, it is.
Doc.
Yes, it
so
is.
If I define a word,
hold on, let me I'm laying my plane. It's pseudo ideas surrounding the term African American.
No, Doc, listen.
I mean, I'm just saying, just because you may identify as this, right? And you may say, well, yeah, I identify as this, but no, I don't subscribe to certain ideas surrounding that, like everything that comes with that. It's like with you and I, when we argue, I say, oh, it's like all or nothing with you. It's either black or it's white. No, it's a such thing as a gray area. And let me tell you how I can identify that characteristic in you, because I used to be a black and white person. It got to be this or that. It's either this or that. And then I learned that, wait a minute, sometimes, no, it can be a little bit of both. I'm just saying that's where I am. And so
that, okay, my point is that ain't what I'm talking about. Okay. You've mischaracterized what I'm saying. I'm saying it has to be a point where I respect what Lord Abbott is saying. And I look up what he's saying, right? And I agree with that. I should never try to change what freedom is. I'm going to say this again. I should never try to change what freedom is. Now, FBA is coming from Clyde, right? Who's coming from, Doc? We've seen it. Okay. Moved over to Tariq. He added to the thing, right? So now y'all trying to tell me that he's bogus for giving the definition of what FBA is. And now all of a sudden, since we recognize it's being wrong, we want to change it now? I'm saying that's disrespectful to him. His idea was very, very simple. The FBA is an ethnogenesis, which is a legitimate term between the real Native American population, right, and enslaved Africans. That is real and legitimate. But the trick is trying to play this wild game that the indigenous people was black people that was already here forever. They popped up in America. Listen to me. No, I know. So I'm saying FBA is misinformation.
African American is misinformation surrounding.
No, I'm saying the person that made it. I'm saying if you was to take out, watch this now. Watch what I'm saying.
Hold on, you got wild narratives flying around about the term, because I'm looking at some of your peanut gallery folks in your comments.
No, why you say it's my people though? They hate me too.
No, it's some people in your section too. Some peanuts in there. Ask Dr. Maya, what's pseudo about African American? It's some wild narratives.
Yeah, what's pseudo about African American?
It's wild narratives floating around about African American.
Yeah, but that's not what it meant.
And I'm like, now because we love the term African American, we don't want to say it's true. Wild narratives floating around.
That's not what we're saying.
No, I know that. I'm talking to the person in the chat right now. They talking about, well, what's pseudo? There's no pseudo ideas floating around about African American. Yes,
that's not true.
It's wild narratives floating around about African American. So where you been? It's wild narratives. Thank you. It's misinformation. If you look at each of these labels, I'm telling you, you'll find some misinformation. And I know that's not what you're saying. I'm talking to the person in the chat. If you look at these different labels, you will find misinformation and disinformation associated with these labels. I'm sorry. That's where I am. You're not going to escape that.
I agree with you.
You're not going to escape that.
Hold on. Let me finish my point.
He said even free. He said even free.
I know. So, but there's misinformation around evolution. People think that evolution means we come from monkeys.
You gotta keep going to evolution.
I got to. What you want I'm going to do? What I'm saying is the example you're using is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the real information the misinformation around FBA is to try to act like he's not talking about the indigenous black people that's already here. So you actually changing his idea. His idea is very simple, and he said what he was, right? Because he changed Claude Anderson's work. Claude Anderson talked about the indigenous black people that's been here for 10,000 years. And he say, well, and then Tariq comes in and say, well, no, that's kind of confusion. You know what I'm saying? I want to call them the FBA, right? But he has the same concept. Leo Weiner, the European, that said the Africans was here first. All these discredited Europeans. This is where FBA came from, Doc. It came up out of people thinking that the Africans was here already. Thus, they wasn't African. They was always here, like they popped up out of nowhere and is disconnected from the regular daggone human population. I can never agree to that. So I'm not going to change his definition. Listen, I'm not going to be soft-hearted and change his definition for him. Now, if he changes that definition and comes back and say, you know what? I was wrong. I'm simply saying the FBA is African people that was enslaved. They came over here and had ethnogenesis with the indigenous people that was here. Then I'm saying, you know what? I can rock with that. But until he says it, the leader, right? Now, he's not the leader. He's not a leader. But the marketing campaign based around pseudoscience, until that man said that out of his mouth, I ain't trying to hear Doc.
I'm gonna send him this clip. No, I'm gonna send him this clip because I agree with the latter definition of FBA.
The latter?
No, yeah, the one that you just gave, Ankh. The latter.
But that's not FBA in.
You're not listening, Ankh.
I can't listen to that. You trying to trick me on that.
Oh my God, you're not listening to yourself. You're
not
listening.
Trick me, Doc. I love you to death.
Hold on. Let me mute you real quick because I want you to listen. You just said, and I want to slow it down. You just said, I do not agree with the definition that Tariq put out there of FBA. That's the first thing you said. And then you said, if he turns around and says, and you gave the proper definition of what I consider FBA, you said no until he turns around and says no, it needs to be, the descendants of West and Central Africa, blah, blah, blah. And then you laid out that definition and you said that is what he needs to say. I then agreed with you and said, yes, I agree with the latter, the word latter, Latter. I agree with the latter in which you said, and that is what you put out there, Ankh. So you're not listening right now.
I did listen to you.
So hold on. I actually just agreed with you. And then you said, what do you mean the latter? What do you mean? That's what you did. I want you to go back, rewind this.
I stand correct, Doc. I stand correct.
No, let me mute you because let me land my plane because you did all that hooping and hollering. And what I'm trying to say to you is I actually just agreed with you. And then you said, what do you mean the latter? You did all of that. And that's what I mean by we have to listen when we're dialoguing with each other. We have to listen. So you gave the definition that Tariq put out there and you said it's false. And you said until he corrects it with this definition, then I don't want to hear it. And I said, yeah, you're right, Ankh. I said, I agree with the latter on what you
It was a joke, Doc. I was joking because the nigga never going to change it. I'm gonna send
the clip. I'm gonna send that clip because I agree with the latter definition.
I know, but I was joking, Doc. I'm simply saying I was joking. The man will never change it because if he changes, then he loses his whole movement. That's my point, man. Yeah. Y'all gotta know that, man. Pseudoscience, if Polite change his stance on herbs, if Dr. Sebi come out and say, you know what, y'all, right? The herbs, you know what I'm saying, they really can't cause an immune response, then he loses his whole movement. So it's a joke when I say if Dr. Sebi change it to say that the herbs really do not cause an immune response, then then I would agree with that. It's a joke, man. He can't change it because that's his definition, and he's standing on that to the tune of thousands of dollars. He make a whole series called Hidden Colors based off of pseudoscientific ideas. I don't need their friendship. I'm good. Right. I swear I'm good. I'm good in my little teeny corner right here. Those who will listen will listen. Those who will not listen will not listen. And let me let the sister go because I seen you raise your hand. I'm gonna shut up, sis.
She did. Go ahead, Queen.
So the difference between FBA and American Freemen is we have legislation. They're not political. You've never seen them do anything political. And then more recently, we found by the meeting that we were invited to with the Pan Africans, it was ADOS that invited us to the meeting. It was the leader here in Massachusetts. And we were shocked to find out that they don't believe in lineage-based reparations anymore. And that was a key sign. So that's how we judge people by their actions, not necessarily their words. Tariq Nasheed and FBA has not put out any legislation. And then the legislation that ADOS wants to put out is non-lineage based. And so that's why we're looking at them like you're making it more difficult for us because those are the numbers of people that we need to get educated and join our forces. And it's just a game and it's all a grift. So, my personal opinion, it's a grift. It's all about a money bag,
And Unc's been
nothing
saying that.
concrete.
Unc's been saying that for a while, Sister Antonia. He been saying it for a while. It's a money bag. It's a money grip. He been
He
saying it
never
for.
said it wasn't though. That's why I'm not mad at him. He said I'm not the leader.
He did.
Right? It's marketing around his movie Hidden Colors, and he never said nothing different.
And he said
that's
it's a
the
lineage.
trick.
He said it's a lineage too.
And
He
that's
called
the
FBA a lineage. He said it's a
but that
lineage.
lineage of who
It's
we
not
ain't
a
got
group.
no, we don't got no lineage tied to no daggone fake black Indians in America. Come on, you know what? I can't do it.
You know
I
what?
don't never
I'm
gotta
gonna send
be
him the
friends
clip.
with that.
I know. I got you on.
And you know, I love the Saw and them dudes. I'm a Raw Squad. That's my baby. And I disagree with them. And I'll never gotta mess with them again. Somebody got to stand for it. They're going to look back in history and say, Unc was wild. But you know what? Damn, he was right. Damn. And you know, once I sign off on it, they listening. So they don't think the Freedman is a crazy idea. You got Lord Abbott right here. They say, damn, if Lord Abbott and Unc can agree, they've been fighting for years. What in the world? They're going to look at it. They're going to say, well, Unc ain't call it pseudo. They're going to say, wow. See, certain things we can sign off on. So tonight, I'm signing off on that. Based off of what the sister said, based off of the three brothers said, based off what you said, Doc, based off of me reading the documentation, right, that Lord Abbott sent me. Yeah, that's right and exact right there, man. Now, so why we got to play with FBA? It separates us and it actually divides us from what we really are. Why we got to play that game with the things that divide us and separate us away from our common goals? Why don't nobody on earth respect that? The Palestinians ain't trying to hear what the Jewish community is saying. The Jewish community ain't trying to hear what the Palestinians saying. They all got their politics, right? And they formulate their politics that best fit them and help them formulate and survive in that environment. Why we always got to play this little game where we got to let people slide? Man, that's why we sliding right now, because we let too many people slide. Come on, Doc. You don't let nobody slide. You've never let me slide. You've never let me slide.
I told you that, and I'll say this publicly. When you and I were talking about the whole FBA thing, and I did say that it's misinformation and disinformation associated with that whole idea of foundational Black Americans. I'll say that live. I mean, you know, I've said that privately, and I'll say that publicly. You know, all of that exogenesis we mix with the Native. I don't believe that. You know what I mean? And I don't subscribe to that. You know, that misinformation and disinformation. So I've never. You know,
no, you never agreed with that.
You.
You never
agreed
I
never.
You guys know something. You know something. Unc mentioned Leo Weiner, people like Van Sertima and others. The one thing that I used to point out to folks about that is that they always said that those people were African. They always talked about the fact that Africans came over here, whether it's true or not. They always identified people as being Africans, not Native Americans, in the sense of, like, some of these people are saying they're Native Americans. They didn't come from Africa. Everybody didn't come from Africa. We're from the soil. You know, you got people saying stuff like that. We're from the soil. And I'm not saying that's what FBA is saying, but there are people in different groups that are saying they're from the soil here, and they can't find any Africans in their families. And they can go back to the 1400s. I don't know how they're going back to the 1400s with records, but according to them, they can go back to the 1400s, the 1500s, and find all of these records about their families. And
Hey, Ali, they got Fred Flintstone documents, Ali. They would pull up the stones, the carvings, and
yeah, but I
the
mean, I'm like, they're talking about they can't find
Ali,
a single African.
they do say it. Van Sertima didn't say it. And this is the point. Abba, we've been around long enough to watch how a little amber, a little spark will grow. Lord Abbott, sitting here today, you would not even think that on a scale like it is now that African Americans be acting like they the Native Americans, bro. That wasn't in our argument. We read Ivan's work. He simply said that Africans may have sailed over here prior to Columbus, right? Read the title of the book. The book tells you what he never said that all of them was that. But that little bit of misinformation, right, is now grown. And people all point back to his work and say that we was always here. Like, the hell with evolution, right? The hell with Charles Darwin. Who is Charles Darwin? The hell with all that. Right now, they've been here for thousands of years. Don't make me play the clip of that man saying that. He said it and he meant it. How do I know he meant it? Because he did a whole series to the tune of millions of dollars. And I'm not a hater, get that money. But I'm saying, yo, it's not historically accurate. And Lisa, the sister said it. She said it's wild information. She didn't say it that way. She said it with grace and elegance, but I don't have that when I'm looking at people just, you seen it grow, bro. You seen it now, right now, yo. Who get them? I tell you what. Let me check your channel, Lord Abbott. You ain't getting millions of views. Let me go ahead and take you through some of the drifters. They get millions of views, yo. So you think I'm supposed to respect that? It's like Malachi York, yo. Malachi York took advantage of our vulnerabilities and our marginalization of understanding our history, bro. Do we supposed to stand up for Malachi York because he got one piece wrong and one piece right? No, you throw him away. You say, nope, we ain't doing that because we can tell you wrong, bro. You don't play that game. Now, I'm not saying that Malachi York and Tariq and them are the same people. That's not what I'm saying. There's no accusations against the man. I'm saying, but the information, bro. Yo, you've been around in New Wapians, Evan. You know how it go. He's doing that same New Wapian shuffle, yo, when they throw all that together, bro. I'm not going to respect that, yo, because I wouldn't be who I am. Now, I'm not going to disrespect him. See, there's a difference there. I'm not going to disrespect Tariq. He told us what it was. When a person tell you what it is and what it was, you just respect that, bro. I think that people trying to act like he's not saying that they was black and indigenous and was always here. I think they're disrespectful to that man's idea. I said black African power. When I said black African power, when I meant it, I meant Africans in America, right? I'm giving homage to Africa. I'm giving homage to my Americanness and the power that we bring when we work together and understand who we are. That's what's meant by black African power. Now, if another person say, don't mean that he mean this, that's disrespectful to my idea. So I'm never going to be disrespectful to that man's idea. I'm going to stick right to his daggone idea. Africans on a slave ship ran into indigenous black people that's always been here for millions of years, and they formed the ethnogenesis. It's called trickology. Truth and falsehood strangely mixed.
I just want to say that ain't my fight. Yeah, I'm just enjoying the back and forth. I have nothing to say
Yeah,
about the
yeah.
FBA
That
people.
ain't my fight either.
None of
I
that.
mean,
That ain't my
I'm with
fight.
you.
So
Right, that's my fight. I'm
Hey,
that
a
ain't my
we
fight.
put in a lot of time, killing pretendianism amongst our
That's right.
people over a
So I
lot of
don't know,
years.
I don't know about that, Josh. Our extensive years of just burying pretendianism, Josh.
A
think
lot
so.
of
Y'all
years.
already did it then, right? So good.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
picking up the fight. Great. So I'm
yeah.
just picking up the fight.
There you
Somebody
go.
got to keep fighting. Thank you, gentlemen. I'm glad you. Hey, Josh, they trying to play, right? Trying to play real easy because you over here with me and Dr. Mayat. They know y'all know daggone well y'all went to war with that. I didn't want to be the first to say it, but y'all did,
But it was
and I
Ali
appreciate
Muhammad.
that struggle.
Look, Ali Muhammad, Phil Valentine. Then the thing always shifted, right? You had
Aline
Lane
Bay.
Calloway,
Aline
Aline
Bay.
Bay, that's my favorite.
Aline
Aline
Bay.
Bay,
Oh
that's my
man, that
favorite.
dude
Doc.
is
It's my
super
favorite.
pseudo.
It's
Aline
my
Bay.
favorite.
Who else? One of them days that was into that stuff. Nakeem Bay. I mean, you had a bunch of people that came. And then
Hakeem Bay, Taj
Hakeem Bay.
Reeves Bay, Taj Reeves,
Todd, oh my God,
Rastafari.
that's
What's
right.
the dudes from Brooklyn, the 1320 Moors? What's
Oh, the
them guys?
1320
Oh
more from
man,
Philly, the Meximore
Yeah,
Empire.
Maxim Moore. Oh,
Who else, man?
y'all
Like,
wow.
we know we done did battle with all of them. We done did battle with every last one of them. And smoke them. Dan Calloway's a coward. He would never agree
Dan
to debate me.
Calloway.
He's a coward.
And then
Come
and
on,
Right
then
man.
fast forward to Big Chief.
now,
Big Chief.
Big Chief Top Cats. All right, you got him. You got this group on Twitter, Secure the Tribe. I mean, it's just it's not dying, and it seems like it's growing off because people hate their ancestry, man, and they don't want to tie back to who they are. And this is the part. This is why I think this movement, this Freedmen movement, is so important because it makes you look at things differently. I didn't know about Prince Rivers from South Carolina and what those white Union Army generals said about him, about how he commanded the troops, and that if South Carolina ever had a monarch, Prince Rivers would be it. Right? I didn't know about the legacy of Joseph Rainey or the original 33 state reps and senators from Georgia. I didn't know about Robert Smalls, who stole that Confederate ship through the Confederate gang signs and then got up out of there, then went and joined it, came back, got his family, went back to the North, then took the Confederate ship and went with the Union Army to the South, to fight those crackers. Like I didn't know about PBS pinchback from out of Louisiana, right? These early senators, Hiram Revels, and all of these different Henry Turner, et cetera, because for us growing up, many of us were ashamed of that connection. And once I got into the Moorish movement, I started to shift. Right, a lot of people was like, "Yeah, Lord, I'm flying the American flag now." Everybody was calling me crazy. Would probably said some of that stuff too, right? At one point, but the fact of the matter is, we've been citizens in this country from day one. We built this country. We built a cultural expression that is emulated the world over. You got people rapping in Farsi and what's the Hindu language? Sanskrit. What is that they speak over
Hindi,
there?
Hindi.
Hindi, right? Right, John? Like, so for us, that thing right there, that American aspect, is something that we have to now embrace. And we can embrace that and still say that we are descendants of Africans, because I know for a fact that my ancestors descend from those people, as my brother Ali likes to say all the time, the descendants of those Africans who were kicked off the continent by other Africans, right? And that's just what it is. And stand proud in that fact. I throw my 23andMe DNA test up all the time. Let it be known that it's 90% sub-Saharan DNA
Same
and
here. Same
9%
here.
white,
Same here. Look.
0.6%
Same here.
little bit of Native American. That's right.
Oh, I
So, you know,
believe.
I want people to
Same.
know that's right. The science is going science when the science needs the science, but the science
Well, they said
also is political.
they,
Mhm.
they say that science is only for entertainment purposes. That we can't trust it.
Yeah, but
That's what they say.
see,
I
the
heard
good
you,
thing
Abba.
about people like right? Real quick, the good thing about people like and those that been on Sarnetta's channel that have destroyed this. Not even Jabari, you know, we got our political disagreements right now, and Reggie and all of them, but they have destroyed all of those arguments about the spit test is fake and that it's for entertainment purposes only because they don't understand that the human DNA or correct me on the verbiage has been mapped.
Genome.
The human
Genome.
genome has been matched, right? So they don't understand that. And something there are people that are not trying to understand that because they want to feel exotic. They want to feel like they rep better than the rest of you in words, right? And you know,
Ninjas.
I'm gonna say this and shut up. I was debating some guy on Sarnetta's channel. It was a pre-debate named Big Aboriginal Chief or Big Chief Aboriginal or something like that. So
Uh-huh.
Sarnetta kept asking the dude, "Hey, cut on your camera, bro. Nobody can see you." He kept making up all these excuses. I was like,
Mhm.
Sarnetta, you know what it is? He don't want his brother, Big Mike, to see him on Sarnetta and somebody in the neighborhood be like, "Hey, yo, Big Mike, your little brother on Sarnetta talking about Indians." You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's what it was. That's what it was. You don't want nobody to see you claiming this stuff that you cannot prove. So, you know, that's all I want to say on that to those people that practice pretendianism.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, no
Go ahead,
doubt.
Doc. Say that.
No, no, no. Yeah, I should have never sent you that clip.
Yeah, this is what we doing.
I
See,
should never sent him
I'm
this clip.
I'm 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 figuring like this. All my mistakes that I made on YouTube is on YouTube, and people always let me know it. Ab, the same with you. So at the end of the day, I want people to go back and get the stuff I got wrong and see how far I've grown from that point to this point, right? So let's figure this out real quick. This is Claude Anderson. I'm not throwing no dirt on him. I ain't throwing no shade. I'm simply saying what he's saying is wrong, right? He's wrong. You know, I got a saying 8 to 80 blind, cripple, or crazy. Got to call it out because that's how affluent, successful communities do it. When it's wrong, they say it's wrong. When it's right, they say it's right. Okay? And they reserve the right to change their mind based off of more available data, right? Whether they should change it or not. So here you go. We're going to do this real easy work right here. Here you go. This is Dr. Claude Anderson.
They come together and unite around the strongest thing in the country, which is blackness. And that, I'm not, you didn't hear me word saying about African American. Native Black Americans are the strongest thing. And now you see, well, this Native Indians, there ain't no such thing as a Native Indians. What are the Indians in the country? They came in here about 10,000 years after Black folk were here already. and they interbred with black folk and create what you call Native Americans, but they get all the advantages and benefits.
Y'all heard that? We don't gotta play with that. We don't gotta act like we ain't here. We gotta hear. Let's move to the next
I
clip.
disagree. I
We heard,
disagree with what you said
I
100%.
bet you did. I bet you did. All the way did. Now let's go to the next clip. This is a vital clip right here. This is serious right here. This is why I'm saying what I'm saying. I ain't just saying it because I'm a hater. I'm never a hater. I'm a participator. Lord Abby, you know that I participate in discourse. Right, wrong, or different. Right? And I reserve the right to change my mind. I could be loud and wrong and strong, and the next week I've changed it based off more available data. Don't hate me, hate the game. All right, here you go. So let me play this clip right here. All right, and let's see. Let's see what this term where Mr. Tariq says he got it from. Let's see. I believe this to be it. All right.
The term foundational Black American, I really got that term from Claude Anderson. I'm a big student of Claude Anderson, and I would chop it up with him, not just in my movies, but I would have him on my podcast, and he would talk about how unique Native Black Americans are. He would use the term Native Black Americans, and he would talk about how unique we are as far as our lineage. We are a unique group, which is true. And I started using the term Native Black American, but sometimes that term would confuse people because they thought, well, do you mean a Cherokee who's mixed with Black? Do you mean a Choctaw who's mixed with Black? So that term would be somewhat confusing. So I said, let's do another term. Let's tighten that term up so that there won't be any confusion. So foundational instead of Native, because Black people, we are the founders of this nation, meaning we're the foundation. We built this nation from scratch. So white people couldn't even say that they did that. But
you changed that term?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I came up with the term foundational Black American based on Native Black American from Claude Anderson.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah.
It's been taken off.
I mean, he was being honest. We finished with that clip. He was being honest where he got it from. I mean, we see it. He said it. He said where he got it from. And then you played Dr. Claude Anderson's interview with Dr. Boyce Watkins. I have watched that. I watched that and sent that to you. I should never send it to Uncle. I'm running with that clip now. But yeah, it's showing exactly where he got it from. So Tariq was telling the truth. That's where he got it from. You know what I mean? And right. I think that, but can we say that I don't know if he's going to revisit it later on, but I know you say he can't because he made money off of it.
He can't change that.
He created this series, but if he does, it's okay. It's okay because there are things that I thought and believed a year ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago that I no longer subscribe to. You get what I'm saying? And I just think that but I just saying I think we need to give people room to grow intellectually. That's all. You know,
not me. Not me.
Okay. No, not everybody. You said not some me. Pseudo stuff too, and
of course. Grown. And I said we come from pseudo beginnings. Right, I admit it.
And you've grown. I admit it. And what I'm saying is, you have to give other people that grace. I'm sorry.
Nope.
You got to give other people that grace to grow.
Nope.
You have to give people that just like you. Just like you grew. Other people have to be afforded grace to grow. Lord Abba, Lord Abba, you've grown too. Because we can rewind the hands of time, and you said some things that were inaccurate. And guess what, Ankh?
I'm still been waiting to hear those things, though. I just want to know what they are.
And then we're going to
see. He want to know what that is.
And we're going to continue to make mistakes. We're going to continue to make mistakes, though, because somebody's going to come behind me and say, Dr. Mai, I remember you put that out there in 2025. That was inaccurate. You know what I mean? And so I just believe that you have to give people grace to grow. That's all I'm saying. Y'all don't have to give people grace. I'm gonna give you grace to grow. You know what I mean? Yeah, and if you grow, you grow. If you don't, you don't. That's on you. But if someone decides to change their position, who am I to say that you can't? I'm gonna keep you right there. I'm gonna keep you right there, Lord Abba. All that more signs. I'm gonna keep you right there. No,
they be trying it.
No, you grew. You grew.
That's right.
And it's okay.
Hey,
it's okay.
Can I say one thing about that?
I'm gonna land my plane in a second. I just want to say this with everybody that's listening, everyone under the sound of my voice. Dr. Ma'at wishes everybody growth and development. I wish that for everyone. Growth and development.
Doc, but you can't give him grace in the middle of them doing pseudoisms, though. I will give him. I mean, that's crazy. Why would you give polite grace in the middle of him lying?
I didn't say I gave. I say, no. I didn't say don't correct the information. I never said that. So you're mixing some stuff up.
Right,
I never ever said that we should not. correct misinformation and disinformation. We should definitely do that. But what
Okay.
I'm saying is, when in the process of doing that, if
Okay.
that person looks back and say, "Damn, Ankh made a point. Dr. Ma'at made a point. Let
Of
me change. Hold on.
course.
Let me change my position." I'm gonna
Of
welcome that
course.
person with open arms and say,
Hmm.
"You know what,
Yeah.
brother? You right.
Of
Thank you for
course.
coming on this side." That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
But you know we're gonna do that.
I'm never ever going to say don't correct misinformation and disinformation. That's foolish. What I am saying is we correct it and give people grace. That's
Oh,
what I'm saying.
yeah, absolutely, Doc.
Yeah.
So I'm just, yeah, of course. But until that point, I ain't giving out no grace.
That's all
Until
I'm
you
saying.
say, I
That's all
thought you
I'm
were
saying.
saying give him grace in the minute, in the moment of, tricking us.
No,
Right.
no,
That's why
no,
I'm saying, no,
no.
I'm not doing that. I get it. You're saying after they come and recognize they was wrong, like Lord Abbott, give me grace for messing up the freedmen. Right?
That's
So
all I'm
why
saying.
wouldn't I give grace? You give me grace for messing up stuff. The community, well, I ain't gonna say the community, half of them give me grace. Right? They like the old stuff I was saying, which is the craziest thing. I like the old you didn't change. I get more of that than anything. I'm gonna finish it off with this, Doc. So because you're gonna have people say, yeah, but he didn't say nothing about
The
being old
exegesis,
ancient.
the exegesis, the ethnogenesis, the ethnogenesis.
And there's direct routes from Africa to the Americas. Forget about the Bering Strait and all that walking. You can take boats over here, and there's rivers within the ocean that'll take you directly here. So there's 100% proof, and it's factual that there were black people here.
There you go. There you go. So we tied it all up now. Right? That's why I'm not doing the FBA thing, because it's a pseudoscientific idea and it's not based in science. It's not based in the reality that occurred to the Africans that was enslaved. Freedom is based in our reality and what it is. It's simple as that. It is not even complicated. So I appreciate y'all for laying the foundation of fighting against that. Don't worry about it. We have picked up the mantle. We armed and dangerous. Appreciate you.
All right, so we're gonna close out, y'all. Definitely. Do you all have any closing words for the listening audience? I just want to start with Sister Antonia. I want to start with that, Queen. What are your closing words, Queen, for the listening audience?
I just want to thank you.
Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry. I
Queen.
just want to thank you for allowing us to be here. I mean, we really appreciate being on the platform to explain our position and the work that we've done. We've worked extremely hard
Yes, you all
over the
do.
last few years to get this stuff done, and we just really want people to recognize what we've done and see if we can have this consistent across the nation. So thank you again, both you and Unc. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Queen. Appreciate your insight. Appreciate your knowledge, your wisdom, your time, Brother Akil.
Oh, Ali.
Oh,
Ali.
Ali. I keep saying Akil. It's and the sister Anthony kept telling me. I kept calling you Akil, sister Ali, brother Ali, brother Ali.
I just want to say that anybody who's interested in reading the actual bill that would create the commission in the state of Massachusetts. The bill is HD 3865. You can go to the Massachusetts legislature's website, which is maLegislature.gov/bills/194/HD 3865. And you can actually read the text of the bill to see what the purpose and the function of the commission would be. Right. So that was really it, because I know we didn't really get the chance to show them and walk kind of through the language of it. But
Let's walk
yeah,
through. Let's do that. Let's do a part 2 where we
no,
actually walk
okay, I'll
through
talk.
it.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah,
cool.
where we actually walk
But you
through.
could. The link is in the back. The link is in the private chat. If you could just put it in the live chat, Dr.
Okay.
Ma, that'd
And
be great, so people can pull it up and they get to read it after the stream is off and see what we did with that. But I guess I can, if you don't mind, blend this with my closing argument or my
yes,
closing statement. I'm so used to debating. Y'all was debating, getting me riled up. I'm like, they debating and I can't get in on the debate? No. So,
Go ahead, show that
um,
real quick, Doc, while he talking, so he can see it. This is what they talking about. Right here, right? You talking about
yes.
right?
let me see. I can't even see that.
Yeah. That's what they're talking about. I clicked the link. I see it. I
Okay,
see it.
did you? Yeah, if you click on the text, which one is that? 3865.
Yes, three eight
Because I'm
six
Yeah.
looking
five.
from my phone, I can't see. Okay, yeah. So when you read that, this is a first of its kind piece of legislation submitted in any state, right? Insofar as modern reparations is
Uh-huh.
concerned, it is completely race neutral. The racial language has been taken out of it. We looked at what the Supreme Court was saying. What did Clarence Thomas say in the affirmative action ruling? And this wasn't his first time saying this. He said the government can remedy a race-based harm that it has caused so long as it advances a colorblind constitution. If people, I've probably called Clarence Thomas a dozen coons over the years, and I'm pretty certain a lot of people have. But if you really look at what we're presenting, and then you go and read Clarence Thomas's argument, his concurring opinion in Students of Fair Admissions versus Harvard, you're going to see that he is 100% right and exact with the points that he's making. Even when you're doing narrow tailoring, think about it. The 18
Lord, but I don't want you to
Mhm.
go in, brother. I really need to close out because it's
Okay, I got you.
yeah, because I'm like,
I
was
got
trying
you.
to. So Ankh put up this bill, and you were saying that people could come here and read the bill.
Definitely. My bad. I'm still in teaching mode, so
Yeah,
my bad. So
that's why I
I'm
said
good.
we could. That's why I
I'm
said we could do a part 2 and come back.
All
But
right,
I'm like,
Yeah, we're
it's
gonna
2
do it.
hours.
We're
I
gonna
gotta
do
go.
a
I'm getting
part
ready to
two.
go eat. You get what I'm saying? I gotta teach tomorrow, so I'm like,
I got you.
I'm ready to. Yeah. Okay, but go ahead. No, finish your closing words. But I just didn't want you to go
All
into the
right, so
nitty
that's
gritty.
it, man. Y'all check the bills, read the bills. We're going to be putting out a call to action soon. We want everybody to support this effort, and we want you to look into freedmanism. Visit our website, usadof.org. Read our 12-point program. We have a plan, and we're actually working that plan. Peace, Sister Dr. Ma'at. Peace,
Boy,
brother. Oh, it's an honor always to be on and building with the fam.
You came here ready to debate me. I tricked you.
Josh,
Nah.
what's up? Josh, what's your closing words, brother Josh? I know you kind of came late, but what are your closing words, Warrior? I
Yeah,
know
I
you
just
kind of
want.
came.
Yeah. Well, thank you for um, accepting me on. But I just wanted to say, look, you got to have a team. I
Yeah.
remember brother Naheem was mentioned that he's grown over the years, and
Yes.
and I'd say you know we have this saying amongst our group that we've been saying the last few years. It's called BTP is always right. And it was a joke at first, but then I started thinking about it. I'm like, the reason why we're able to be right is because we don't we're not emotionally invested in a position. We're not tied to a position. So we take an idea, we take information, we brainstorm, and we put that through a rigorous process. And what comes out of there is the most refined, tested information, and vetted information, research information, uh, based on everybody's collective experience and whatever we can add on to with that, and that may grow and evolve and improve over time, but the underlying premise is always going to be solid. And I say that's the value of having a team of people that have a lot of experience, that number one also have the greatest of intentions at heart. So, brother Aunt, what you were mentioning, about certain individuals, like whatever the case may be, we know that your intention is not going to change. Your intention is going to be for the greater good of the group. So,
Absolutely.
what I mean, surround yourself with people that have the strong, great intentions at heart, that have commitment to, no matter what, doing right by our people, and are gonna be committed to growing and adding and building and reading books. I mean, I don't have the book in front of me right now, but
Brother Josh. Brother Josh. I got you, brother. I think I don't want you to grab the book, brother.
no, no, no,
Don't,
no,
don't,
no. I was
don't
just
grab the
saying
book. Don't grab the book, brother. We
the
close.
the the invention of the white race. I just picked that one up. I don't know if y'all have ever talked about that one on here, but yeah, all of that's key. So,
Oh, that's a good one. They
yeah,
invented
yeah.
that when they invented the black race at
Oh
the
yeah, I got
same
that. I got
time.
that. I got that right here. You know the
Yeah, no,
sister.
Uh-huh.
Alice.
Dr. Jacqueline Badalore. She wrote a book called "Birth of a White Nation." She took a lot of information from that book that you just mentioned, the
Then,
invention of
that book,
white
y'all
race.
got to read that book, especially volume 2.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Thanks again, y'all. Peace.
Appreciate you, man. Peace out. All right, y'all. We out of here. Peace and love, everyone. Peace and love. We're gonna do a part
Peace,
two. We definitely
peace.
gonna do a
Hey,
part two where we get into that bill. Go ahead, brother Ankh.
yeah, make sure y'all support all our platforms. Make sure we got Samaka Cater coming through. All right. I want y'all to make sure y'all support that. It's a Zoom event.
Show the
Um,
screen. Show the screen real quick,
yeah,
brother
I
Ankh.
don't even have to ask you. Well, shoot, I can't even get it on my thing. Y'all can see it
Somebody
right here,
had
right?
it.
Yeah, go ahead, put it up there. Yeah, but
Yes,
they
there it
put the
is.
link
There it
there,
is.
right? All
There
right,
it is.
yeah. Okay, interview with the expert series. Dr. Samaka Cater. All right, a bioanthropologist. It's important. We're gonna have that conversation about race. We're gonna have that conversation about everything that you think you know. It's important to bring experts amongst us. It's important to have a platform. And I appreciate Dr. Mia because she actually gave us that sway where people can say, okay, he's dealing with a doctor, so he understands the temperament, he understands what needs to happen. And so, based off of those relationships, we're able to bring this type of individual to the community. Very important. And we will continue to bring African Americans. We will continue to bring European Americans, white Americans. We will continue to bring those who are grounded in science and scientific literacy. So the link is right there. If y'all want to support. If not, it's fine. But we doing it for real. All right. And we do it at the highest level. Appreciate
And,
everybody support, like, and subscribe. Go ahead.
Ankh, send me the link to this so that I can put it in the description of this video. Also,
Okay.
brother Alil, please send me the link to the bill so that I can put it in the link, like in the description of this video. You see what I'm saying? Like I can take all the links that you all have and just put it, in the description of this video so that people don't have to remember and they just have it. Okay. And I appreciate you all for coming on. Thank you so much for your time, your energy, and the work that you're doing on behalf of freedmen. You all are fighters. You all are warriors. That's why I kept calling you warriors. You're warriors, and you're fighting, and we appreciate you. I want to thank everyone who tuned in tonight. I'll be live again next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's do it.
You
Let's
know,
do it.
you know what we doing,
All
man.
right, let's
Y'all
do
thought
it.
y'all